John Young of Cryptome.org is our guest. He knows a lot about at least the founding and of Wikileaks and some of the people involved. But it's on record that Cass Sunstein, who said that they would basically sabotage the web by posing as freedom fighters and leakers, really introduced WikiLeaks to the world in 2007 in an editorial in the Washington Post that he wrote. So it's pretty much admitted this is a CIA group. As Mr. Young said on this show over a year ago and predicted much of what's now unfolded, if you're going to have a $1 trillion war in Afghanistan or Iraq, you got to go stage some terror attacks, fund the opposition. If you're going to have an excuse to take over the web and spy on everybody, you've got to finance some leaks. And you see the media, the way they supported it, the way they always hype it up. But I think, again, Assange is a useful dupe that they're flushing down the toilet. But time will tell. I mean, specifically, John, walk through what you believe is happening here, the founding of WikiLeaks, where you think this is going. John, give us your view on the statements I just made. He must have lost our audio. I can hear him typing. That happens with phones sometimes. John Young, can you hear me? All right, we'll call him back.
I'm here.
Okay, John, go through your original concerns about WikiLeaks.
Well, as you know, Alex, I was sucker punched into serving as a public face of WikiLeaks because they didn't want any of them to be named in the registration of the website. So I did it because I've done it for others. And I was led to believe that it was a public benefit operation. But within a few weeks, it announced that it intended to raise $5 million in the first 6 months. I said, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like public benefit to me. That sounds like a high-value funded program. And I mentioned two examples, CIA and Soros. I didn't accuse them of that. I said it would be like that, in which deep pockets are funding something. You can't just raise money by an unknown organization in that brief period of time. Now, we know that businesses do that, though, with the same kind of rollout. And so that was my first sense that this was a business operation, not a public benefit operation. And it's turned out to be that. So, others may make the link to CIA and Soros, by the way, both of whom use the same techniques of claiming to be public benefit, but far from being the only ones. Churches do it, educationalists do it, and so forth. So that public benefit is a well-known subterfuge for actually making pretty good money these days. Of course, following the government model.
Okay, now, so, I mean, that's an important tidbit. You registered, and that's been confirmed, the WikiLeaks URL to begin with. When was that, John?
That was in December 2007.
And have you seen the fact that it was Cass Sunstein that basically introduced them to the world?
Say that again, Alex?
It was Cass Sunstein who introduced WikiLeaks to the world in that Washington Post article he wrote in 2007.
Yep. That's right.
And this is a guy who openly says that he would pose as activists on the web as a pretext to bring censorship in. Now they're introducing the legislation to do just that. I mean, this is pretty obvious.
Well, it's certainly a complicated story and needs to be watched very carefully because I think there's a lot of smoke being blown about this and that a lot of the usual exculpation and accusation are being rolled out as part of that smoke blowing on all party sides. Some of the enthusiasts for WikiLeaks seem to be operating in concert with some of its opponents. It looks like they're in lockstep to me.
Really? Okay, stay there. We're back in 1 minute, John. 1 minute break. I want to try to give you the floor so that I'm not just asking the questions. I want to give you the floor to break down what you think's going on and to cut through this fog of war, this fog of info war, and give us a clear image of what you, a true insider, thinks. We'll be right back.